Hello everyone, my name is Irene and this is an English lesson. Today we're going to learn a lot of interesting and new information to you, and I suppose that it will be helpful. I want to start our lesson with the words of a famous philosopher. Choose your job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. And that is true, because if you love what you do, if you love your job, it's really interesting to you and you accept it as a hobby, not as a job, not as a monotonous work. Yeah? So, as you understood from my quote, we're going to speak today about jobs. About future jobs, about job interview, and today we're going to learn some interesting rules how to write a letter of application. It would be helpful to you in your future life and during your state exams if you will have such a topic. Okay? So, today the first topic that we're going to overcome, it is the sphere. What newest spheres and newest professions happened and occurred nowadays? So, the first sphere, you can see, that is the sphere of green energy. Sphere of green energy is very popular and very necessary nowadays. Why, you can ask me? Just because we have to take care of our environment. Some environmental programs just are started everywhere in every country, and this problem should be globalized and we should think about it. What does it mean, green energy? We have to use some wind power energy, and we need specialists in this sphere. Also, we need some specialists how to use solar power energy. You know that our new cars like Tesla is very popular nowadays because people take care of the environment. They don't want to harm it. And also about recycling, we should be aware and we should think how to recycle our rubbish, how to make smaller our landfills, and it's necessary. You will ask me, why do I put here just a sphere of healthcare? We've got doctors and we had them 100 years ago, and the sphere of healthcare was and still remains the same. Not the same, I can agree, I can't agree with you, but it's not the same, because we need really good specialists in this sphere who can work with the new technologies, who can diagnose all of our diseases in a minute and can help us to cope with our health problems. Okay? So the next sphere is the business management. This sphere is also very popular, and if you are aware of such things, how to deal with the marketing, how to sell some just products, you can be engaged in this sphere. But remember that you need to know and to learn at least several languages, because the sphere of business is also globalized nowadays, and you have just to cooperate with the different companies, with different countries. So, the sphere of education. Just a few weeks ago, I had a discussion in my class, and my students started to argue. Will the teacher remain, or our robots will perform some works instead of teachers? And mainly, students said that, of course, teachers should remain. The role of teacher is not the same, because we just helpers in during the lesson. We just help our students how to search the information, how to organize some presentation skills, but still teacher is a very necessary profession. The next sphere is a sphere of entertainment and media. This sphere will remain, and it's very just necessary thing to us, because people always need to think where to spend our leisure time, how to get new information. So the sphere is media, is also very important. So what newest professions, and here I just want to inform you about the newest professions that may occur or just that exist nowadays, but you didn't know about them. The first profession is a 3D fabricator. What kind of profession is it? We've got 3D printers already, and we create some things, some interesting things with this 3D printer. In this kind of profession, I want to mention that scientists create and develop such printers that will create our human organs, even limbs, and it would be rather helpful. Imagine that you have opportunity to change any organ that is unhealthy in your organism. So the next it is the climate engineer. Can you imagine that in the nearest future we can change the weather for better, or we can change some or predict some catastrophes and remove these catastrophes from the earth? It also can be possible. The creation and service of domestic robots. We got this robot nowadays, not in all of the countries, but still. Maybe in some restaurants even I have seen such a video that one robot served some clients and took some orders. It's quite an interesting idea. And also the transhumanist surgeon. Imagine the situation that one person is, or a doctor is in Great Britain, and a person that needs an operation is in Africa, and it would be really easy to perform such operation with the help of new technologies and some special devices. So the next nanorobot immune system researcher and human DNA programmer. It is also a kind of a new profession that exists nowadays, and people try to change our DNAs just before a person, just before the birth of a person, just to change some problems with the health and to remove some genetical problems. The next it is cosmetic bioprinter. Imagine the situation that you need to remove something that you don't like in your body, and this printer can print any part of body or print new skin. Quite interesting. Then vertical farmer. You can see even a picture on my presentation. A vertical farmer is a profession that really exists nowadays, and people try to grow as much plants, vegetables as possible. Why do we have such a profession? Just because we've got a small amount of landfills, and more cities appear, and we need more products. Quite a nice idea, and who likes gardening, you can consider this profession as a future profession of yourself. Then space elevator attendant. What kind of profession is it? If you want to visit any planet or from our solar system, you can take this elevator and have a weekend there. Do you like such an offer? Why not? GM and nano engineer in food industry, quite controversial profession and quite controversial idea to have it or not, just because do we have a right to change something in our food, but still we do that to grow more plants, to grow more food, and maybe in future it will help with the problem of hunger, with the problem of starvation. So, the next point we're going to overcome today, it is a job interview. If you decided what profession to choose, obligatory, you need to think about job interview. You have to talk to the interviewer and to go through some tricky questions and realize what things and what questions you will be asked during the interview. I can help you in this also sphere, and here I offer you some tricky and some important questions that can be asked during this job interview. The first is not a question, it's a sentence just, and it asks you to tell about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Should you tell the whole story of your life? Should you tell the biography from the childhood? Of course not. You should think about some short, brief information about your hobbies, about your ideas of future job. Also, you should think about some things that can affirm and confirm that you really want this job and you're really suitable for this position. The next question, can be as follows. What are your strengths? And here I just offer you to show all of the strengths, and I just can show it on my board. You have to say that I'm quite cooperative person. I am enthusiastic. I am disciplined. I am determined person, and I want to get this position. And I know that I got some good career prospects during my work just in this company. I'm quite patient and I'm honest person. So the next tricky question, as I said that we're going to speak about some tricky questions. What are your weaknesses? Here you shouldn't say that I'm impatient person or sometimes I am aggressive, because it's not correct. It's not the thing that your interviewer wants you to hear, wants you to say. You may say some things that you want to improve in your future. So I'm a little bit detail-oriented, and sometimes I just can lose my time when I am searching for some details and when I want to improve something. Then I want to improve some presentation skills. I am a little bit shy, but still I am working on this skill. And sometimes I'm too sensitive. It is also can be like a weakness, but still it's not a real weakness that your interviewer wants to hear. And the last question, what do you know about our company? Here you should remember that you have to search for the information that present this company, about the history of this company, what career prospects you can have. So you should know some small information about it. I suppose that these questions and my presentation will be helpful to you to pass job interview. But it's not enough. When you think about your job interview, you should think about the letter of application. What kind of writing is it? The letter of application, it is a written document addressed to an employer by a job applicant explaining why are you interested in this qualification. You have to convince your just interviewer or employer in this idea. Before you start to write this letter, you should remember the difference between formal and informal kind of writing. Is a letter of application informal or formal writing? Of course, it is formal. And here are some interesting tips for you to remember how to write this formal letter. If it's a formal letter, it is an official kind of conversation. It should be very short, and it should include some paragraphs according to the rules of writing. Formal letter also, you have to write from the first person if it is a business letter, and from the third person, some other. Written to business and to colleagues, to the institutes, to the employer organizations, the sentences should be long and complex, and passive voice is usually used. And let's revise some interesting rules how to write informal letter, just very briefly and shortly. It can be as long as you wish. It can just accomplish all of the ideas and tips that you want to present. You may write informal letter to your friend, to your relatives. It is written from the first, second, or third person as you wish, and you write to your acquaintances, to your friends and family. And sentences are short, simple. You may use some collocations, and you may use some idioms and shortenings. Yeah? So, when you write a letter of application, first of all, you should introduce yourself. You should mention the job or kind of job you are applying for. You should show that your skills and experience match to the advertisement or to the position that is offered to you. Yeah? The next, you have to encourage reader to read this letter. You have to make it interesting. Then you have to finish with the call to action. You have to ask for an interview, and you should mention the time and your phone number in this letter. Draft your email. What does it mean? You have to write a draft variant of your email. It should consist of the first sentence, yeah, and it should contain 3 paragraphs, and the last sentence that is a closing sentence. In the first sentence, it is an introductory sentence. You have to explain why are you writing. By the way, each letter should contain such a sentence. You have to explain the purpose of your writing. In the first paragraph, you give the personal information, including skills and qualifications. In the second paragraph, you have to talk about your relevant experience you have. And in the last paragraph, explain why you think that you would be suitable to this position. And the last sentence is a closing sentence, as I said, you with a phone number or something like that. Edit. Don't forget to edit your letter. Cut down all of the unnecessary information. If the sentences are too long, you have to shorten them and think about some appropriate vocabulary. And check. Of course, you should look through the letter and check for all of the mistakes, for the grammar mistakes, for the spelling mistakes, and punctuation. So, the next point, and that is a kind of letter of application from Ivan Petrenko. You can study this letter and you can see that I was right. According to the rules, we start the letter with the first sentence. He is writing in the first sentence the purpose of his sentence. In the next paragraph, he is writing about his personal information. How old is he? He is writing about his relevant experience, that he passed examination for the first certificate in English. Also that he wants to become a teacher and he wants to apply for the job of in a bookshop, yes, because he is interested in books and he worked in the library and he knows well about books and how to offer people these books. In the second paragraph, he writes about his relevant experience, that he was a volunteer in his school, he knows how to do that. And in the last paragraph, he writes about when is he available for this job? It means that he is available from July to August, and he can be available at any time, including Saturdays, including some day offs. Yeah, as many hours as needed, he can work. And the last sentence, that is like a conclusion, and you can see here the address he had and his telephone number. I want to say that if you write a letter during your state exams, you shouldn't write your real name and you shouldn't write your real address and phone number. It is forbidden. But if you really want to apply for the position, of course, you need to write it. So, now I want to make a conclusion of our lesson, and I want to tell you that nowadays the world of jobs is really big, and you have to think about the taste, you have to think about your preferences, your weak and strong points. You have to list all of the jobs that you really want to apply. Think about your strengths and weaknesses. But don't forget about the life skills that you need to develop during your lifetime if you want to work in a really big company. So here I just want to present you the list of life skills that are really very important and necessary. The skill how to use the information. Any company will ask you or check you for this skill. We've got a lot of information and we need to know how to search it in different way. Yeah. The next, it is a critical thinking. Among these information, we should search for the information that is really important. That is really important for the project or for project of any company. So the skills how to use new technologies. Of course, you should know how to work with the computer, how to work with different programs, and that is very necessary in big companies. Adaptability and flexibility. One time you can work in one company, and after that you can change your position and you can work from abroad and make your team from there. So you have to be adaptable to some different circumstances, and you have to be flexible and you have to adjust to these circumstances. Creativity, of course, when you have got a lot of data, a lot of information, you have to know how to use it creatively, how to combine all of this information. The next it is emotional intelligence. How emotionally you can present some information, how can you advertise the project, it is also very important, how emphatic you can be. Then leadership skills. Of course, any company needs leaders who can just organize the work of the team and can just produce some new ideas, and these leadership skills are very important. Then cooperative skills, to work in a team, to work with some people, just how creative and how friendly you are, it is also very important. So I hope that all of these skills and all of my information that I gave to you will be necessary and helpful in your future life. So, thank you for your attention and have a nice day. Goodbye.
Усім привіт! Почну не з офіційного «Доброго вечора, дорогі українці», а з забутого, проте дуже актуального сьогодні. Здоровенькі були. Найперше я дякую всім, хто дослухався поради і сьогодні залишився вдома. Це дійсно дуже важливо для вашого життя і для вашого здоров'я. Є й інший позитив у карантині. Вперше за довгий час у Києві різко зменшився рівень забруднення повітря. І це не може не тішити. Продуктові магазини, аптеки, АЗС, банки, страхові компанії та всі державні органи працюють. Окрема подяка Верховній Раді України, яка не пішла на карантин. Депутати працюють в комітетах, а у разі необхідності ухвалення термінових законів зможуть швидко зібратись у залі засідань. Країна не зупинилась, країна працює. Тепер щодо українців, які, на жаль, поки що не вдома. Йдеться про тих, хто перебуває за кордоном і не встиг повернутися до 17 березня. Найголовніше – ми всіх вас повернемо. Когось швидше, когось трішки пізніше. Але ви всі обов'язково будете на батьківщині. Щодо тих, хто полетів чартерними рейсами у відпустку на відпочинок. Сьогодні держава надає максимальне сприяння туроператорам та перевізникам, щоб вони забрали українських туристів з віддалених куточків світу. Налагоджено планове повернення українців з Єгипту, Об'єднаних Арабських Еміратів, Домініканської Республіки, курортних островів Азіатсько-Тихоокеанського регіону, з Північної та Південної Америки. Щодо інших громадян за кордоном, вам необхідно зробити декілька важливих кроків. Перше. Зареєструйтесь у системі «Друг» за ось цим посиланням. Там повідомте МЗС про країну, де ви перебуваєте зараз, і надайте якомога більше інформації про суть проблеми у розділі «Коментар до подорожі». Це дуже допоможе нашим дипломатам та спростить формування списків громадян, які мають терміново повернутися додому. Якщо вам не вдалося зареєструватись, зверніться до українського посольства чи консульства на території країни, де ви перебуваєте. Це можна зробити електронною поштою або за телефоном гарячої лінії. Усі контакти ви знайдете на соціальних сторінках відповідних установ або на сайті МЗС. Розділ «Посольства та консульства», підрозділ «Дипломатичні установи». Також ви можете написати на сторінках посольств і консульств у соцмережах. Після чекайте на подальші інструкції. У місця